Drama unfolded today on the floor of Parliament at the swearing-in of the newly elected member for Ayawaso West Wuogon, Lydia Seriam Alhassan.
Now, the minority walked out, initiating a series of protests. Sixtus Dong Ulo of City News followed the developments and has come through with this report.
Amidst shouts of shame and display of placards with inscriptions, Bloody Widow, the caucus, largely dressed in black, walks out of the chamber. Chief Whip for the side, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, tells the House the walkout is in solidarity with their comrades who were brutalized. Madam Lydia Seriam Alhassan's election was characterized by brutalities perpetuated by uniformed masked security personnel. The Ghana Police Service denied knowledge and authorization of the personnel, with the Electoral Commission insisting that the poll was free and fair and could not have been affected by the widely condemned brutalities. The NDC, which forms the minority in Parliament, however, served notice it will litigate the outcome. Led by Deputy Leader James Kluche Aveji, Chief Whip Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, the caucus marched to the police headquarters in solidarity with Ningo Prampram member Sam George, who was a victim of the brutalities.
Minority Hall President Nana Akufo-Addo, as Commander-in-Chief and Chairman of the National Security Council, fully responsible for the 31st January 2019 bloodbath, especially when his Minister of State for National Security, Mr. Brian Achompong, has publicly admitted that national security, under the chairmanship of the President Akufo-Addo, deployed and supervised the broad daylight barbarism on the very Ghanaian President Akufo-Addo was elected to protect.
The New Crusading Guide newspaper, Abdul Malik Kweku Baako Jr., which was challenging the removal of former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Charlotte Osei, the justices of the Apex Court, among other things, held that Mr. Baako Jr. failed to raise any concrete constitutional issue and also failed to evoke the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. There's more in this report.
The case by Malik Kweku Baako emanated after the committee set up by the Chief Justice recommended the removal of Madam Charlotte Osei as chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Kweku Baako in his suit argued that Mrs. Osei was not impeached based on the performance of her core functions as the EC chairperson. He prayed the Apex Court to hold that the Chief Justice's prima facie determination against Mrs. Osei was inconsistent and in violation of Article 146, Clause 3 of the 1992 Constitution. But the 7-member panel of the justices of the Apex Court held that Mr. Baako failed to raise any concrete issue of constitutional importance and also failed to evoke their original jurisdiction. They also, while addressing the issue of procurement, added that not every issue is redressable by the Supreme Court and that the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is narrow. The justices included that engaging in procurement was part of the other functions of the EC, though not clearly mentioned in the Constitution.
Just a quick one. Of the land has spoken. I'm not convinced, but I accept the verdict.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has struck out Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu as a defendant in the case challenging his eligibility for the position. According to the court, Mr. Amidu was not a proper party to the case, as the position in question is one which falls under Article 88 of the Constitution, which requires the Attorney General to represent public officials sued as a result of their office.
Now, the court also ordered the Attorney General and lawyers for the plaintiff in the case to file a joint memorandum of issues for adjudication within 14 days. The plaintiff, Deputy Minority Ranking Member on Constitutional Affairs, Dr. Dominic Ayine, spoke to the media after the court's decision.
We joined Martin Amidu because we noted that he was integral to the processes leading to the institution of the action. The reason is simply because he was the one who was nominated, and we were challenging his eligibility. The fact that he was nominated and vetted by Parliament and appointed by the President is at the heart of this action that we took. And therefore, we thought that he was a necessary party to the action. But if the court says that he's not a necessary party, that is fine. It does not in any way affect the substance of the action that we have brought.
Now, an Accra Circuit Court has charged and battled Dr. Dominic Obeng-Addo of the Obengfo Hospital with 2 counts of practicing without a permit and operating a health facility without an operating license. He has since been granted bail of 100,000 Ghana cedis, with one surety expected to be a public servant. The case has been adjourned to February 20th. To some other stories, and some residents of Brekum in the Bono-Hafo region are unhappy with managers of the Northern Electricity Distribution Company of the Volta River Authority over what they term as persistent power outages in the area.
Now, some angry youth who besieged the NEDCO VRA office to express their frustrations are demanding the immediate transfer of the manager, Eric Ofori.
Although there's relatively stable power nationwide since the difficult days of what was termed Adunso came to an end, Brekum and its environs have been experiencing power outages for over a year now. Some angry residents who spoke to City News say power distributors in the area have not given any reasonable explanations for the situation, which is affecting businesses and life in general.
Now, a prison is the last place you would expect to find a thriving commercial fish farm. But the James Camp Prison in Accra is showing the way with a unique initiative under the Aquaculture for Food and Jobs program by the Ministry for Fisheries and Aquaculture. Inmates at the prison have been equipped with skills and a pond. There is more in this report by City News' Philip Nilati.
The Fisheries and Aquaculture Ministry has commenced a pilot phase of the Aquaculture for Food and Jobs program at James Camp Prison Fish Farm in Accra. The project is inspired by the Planting for Food and Jobs program spearheaded by the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. Inmates have received training in landscaping, horticulture, fabric design, laundry services, etc. as part of the prison's rehabilitation program.